So welcome to tonight's Yin Yoga for Gratitude practice. This is nestled into the fall theme that we're working with in the online subscription of Anchored. And one of the things I love about a Yin practice is that it is very slow, steady, and feels naturally anchoring for me. Grounding is another word you might use. And tonight's practice is focused on postures that help to hopefully free up some energy in a couple of the energy lines, or what we call meridians in traditional Chinese medicine. So if you want to listen to my little acupuncture nerd talk, great. You can always tune me out as well. But I'll show you a couple of helpful points to massage and hold. And I like to start that way, and then we'll get into the practice with the postures. So we'll be focusing on the liver and gallbladder meridians. Those are a pair. And the liver and gallbladder, the liver in particular, is great by opening it up, it helps release resentment, any kind of sort of anger that could get built up. And I feel like helps in the opening up process to feel a little bit more grateful for all of the things and the not things, right? The not material things that make up our life. We'll also be working on some postures that help to open up the energy line, the spleen and the stomach. And these pair meridians help you digest not just food, but your whole life experience. And so when things get sort of stuck in either of these pairs of meridians, it can just create a little bit more anxiety, definitely some stomach distress potentially along there. And so as we head into the end of the year and a season that is often connected to gratitude and holiday gatherings, I wanted to share this practice specifically to just help free up those energy lines and help welcome in gratitude for your life. So the first point I want to point out is actually something called conception vessel 17. You don't have to remember these things, but if you're an acupuncture nerd like me, maybe it's interesting. And we're not going to massage it per se. You're actually just going to touch and hold if you like. So if you take your fingers of one of your hands and kind of go down into the center of your chest near your breastbone, just a few fingers above where it's turned soft. So you can either just slide down this way, or if you know where the top part of your ribs is, sort of soft here, you want to take about your hand or 4 fingers worth, and then just hold there. You can gently rub back and forth, or you can just calmly hold and press. You don't have to press very strongly. But this point helps to release anxiety. It can also calm heart palpitations, which hopefully you don't need to worry about, but it is connected very much so with the heart and with the chest. And so calming any sort of anxiety or potentially feelings of spasm or seizing or even grief in the heart. And you can just pause and hold here for a while. If it feels good, you might even close the eyes. You're always welcome to keep them open. As you hold your heart here, you hold this point. Just notice any other sensations that are part of your experience. It's almost a way of soothing your own heart. You're welcome to linger here as long as you like. And most acupuncture meridians have 2 sides. This one is in the middle, so it does not. I just want to clarify that because we're going to talk about another point on the foot in a moment. Let me switch my camera angle to the mat and show you the next one, which is one of my favorites. And I've been talking about it a lot recently in my classes. I'm going to take my sock off, but you don't have to if you're feeling chilled. Hopefully your space is nice and warm. But this next point is on the liver meridian, which I mentioned earlier, and it's called liver 3. If you take one of your fingers, I usually use my pointer finger, and go to one of your feet between your big toe and your second toe. I'm going to come in closer to the camera so you can see. So it's between the big toe and the second toe. You're going to draw a line up. And if you go far enough, you'll feel like the bones in your foot start to go. It's going to be way before that. So it's about an inch, maybe an inch and a half up, where it's still pretty soft tissue, as opposed to where it starts getting bony. And for some of you, you might feel it as almost like a little divot there. And if you poke or press, it might be a little tender. That's another indication that you found the point. And so you can press and hold like we did the previous one, or you can gently make little circles as a gentle massage on that point. Sometimes I'll take my hand and actually hold the thumb at that side, and then my other fingers are kind of holding the other side or the ball of the foot, and then I can massage here. Now the point exists on both sides, so you can look for it on the other foot as well. Poke around there and find your, I like to call it a fun ouch, right? And then you can hold or gently massage. You don't have to hurt yourself, even though it might feel tender. It's not something that will necessarily loosen up, right? Like when you get a muscle massage. And just spend a few moments here if you like. And this point is particularly good for releasing anger, any pent-up frustration. It could be from anything. Sometimes if we're unable to move or get outside, or get our energy out, or we've been stuck at our desk for a long time, sometimes we just have a little bit of pent-up energy, that kind of frustration. And so this can be really helpful for that. So next time you're in a Zoom call with your boss and he can't tell, or she can't tell, or they can't tell that you're able to touch your feet while you're on the call, you could, do that. Or after you get off the phone with your mom or anyone else. So those are the 2 points I wanted to mention. So the one here at the center of the chest to help calm anxiety and anything related to the heart or chest area. And then liver 3 down here, which is great for a lot of things, but especially helping to release any pent-up frustration, anger, resentment, things of that nature. All right. Again, you can linger, you can linger here as long as you'd like. But we'll start with our practice tonight. And I recommend that you have a blanket and either 2 yoga blocks if they're available, if you have them at home. And if not, maybe 2 big sturdy pillows. Either way, they don't have to be square. They can be soft. And so we'll use these props right away with the first pose, which will be reclined butterfly shape. So in general, the soles of the feet come together, the knees go wide, and this is where the pillows or your blocks can be really useful underneath the outer thighs. And then I like to have the blanket even just over the belly area to keep everything nice and warm. And then come on down onto your back. If you like a little support under your head, maybe you have another pillow for that. But the idea here is that you want to find a shape where you can rest and relax in the shape. And so you decide where your arms want to be, away from the body or even touching close. And in the yin style of practice, we're trying to passively hold a shape. That's where the props can be useful to help us let go of muscular effort. Sometimes this can feel like you're not doing a whole lot. For me, yin yoga is very much about undoing, untying the knots, opening space, and allowing energy to flow more freely inside of you. So once you've set up your shape, your job really is to relax into it. Make friends with gravity and make friends with time. It can be interesting to tune in to the rhythm of your natural breath. In a moment, I'll guide you out of the shape, but please know that you don't have to wait for me to guide you. If you need to move out of a shape early, or if you want to linger into it and for a little longer. So anytime you're holding a shape in this relaxed way for a while, it can feel like you're a little stuck as you move out of it. So it's nice to help your legs together with your hands. Maybe take a moment, slide the blanket out, or draw the knees in close to your chest if that feels good. And feel free to move in any way that feels good next. Often after holding a pose for a while, it can be nice to move more fluidly, or maybe even more energetically, more yang after some yin. So feel free to press the feet into the floor and lift the hips away in a gentle bridge lift. Feel free to stretch out or squeeze in as you need or as you enjoy. And then we'll head into the next shape. And for this, you might want one or maybe both blocks, or if you're using pillows, on your right side. It depends on how things go, whether or not you want more height or less. So we'll see here. Straighten out your right leg down along the floor and grab your left knee in close to the chest. And then with your right hand, guide the leg across. You're going to have to probably do a little shuffling here, but the idea is we're going to come into a twist with the blocks or your stack of pillows supporting underneath your left leg. And so I feel like I need to scooch around a little bit to make that more comfortable. And then you can decide where you want your left arm. Do you want it in close to your body? Do you want to reach it out in the opposite direction? Sometimes this hanging of the arm in space is really nice in terms of the feelings and the stretch. And sometimes it can just be a little too much, so feel free to adjust at any time. And then once you set up your shape, see if you can relax all over again. And if you enjoy tuning in to your breath rhythm, just for tonight, I have a little mantra for you, a little tool of thought, a saying that you can do along with your breath. So perhaps as you inhale, think of something that you're grateful for in your life, maybe a person or your pet. And then as you exhale, say to yourself, thank you. As you inhale, think of someone or something else for which you feel grateful. And as you exhale, say to yourself, thank you. And then you can continue for as long as you like, as many different things as come to mind. In a moment, I'll guide you to switch to the other side, but do so gently and slowly. Feel free to roll onto your back or stretch out or move in any way here that feels good. Oh, excuse me. And then if you enjoyed having the blocks on that side, bring them over to your other side so they can support you in the twist over here. Extend your left leg long and bring your right knee in. And then guide your right leg across the body and shift your way around to find your shape on this side. And it doesn't have to be the same exact thing because your body is a little different from one side to the next. In fact, over here, I'm choosing to bring something underneath my head because I really would like that over here. Somehow that floor feels a little further away from my head on this side. There's that feeling when the support hits just right and your body can relax and make friends with gravity. Feel free to play with where you want your right arm to go. And if you enjoyed the breath thank you mantra, feel free to continue. It's okay if nothing comes to mind for a while. And when it does, breathe out a thank you. When you feel ready to move out of the shape, be tender with yourself, help your leg out and around, return to your back. Enjoy a few moments of simply being here or wiggling, moving. For the next shape, take as little effort or use as little effort as possible and roll onto your belly. For Sphinx pose, prop yourself up onto your elbows here and extend your legs long behind you. So you can start maybe with your elbows underneath the shoulders, but there's no magic about exactly the fact that they need to be there. In fact, in your body, you might decide you want to change the shape, the arch in your back, in which case you can play with moving the elbows out away from you or even wider. Remember, the idea here is to make friends with gravity. So see if you can find a shape where your bones feel like they're stacking to hold you up. That could be that you take the TV watching mudra and hold your face in your hands or your chin. You could also decide to let the chin come close to your chest. You have lots of options, and all of them will feel a little different in your body. You get to choose. Notice what it feels like to breathe in this shape. To rest in the shape. And to spend or enjoy time in the shape. Remember, you don't have to wait for me to guide you out of anything. If for any reason the sensation is sort of spiking or becoming too much and you feel complete, simply make your way down onto the belly and rest or move in a way that feels good. I'm going to linger here a few more moments. When you feel complete, make your way down onto the belly unless you're already there. Sometimes it can feel nice to wiggle the bum side to side, release any tension or leftover sensation in the low back. You could also swish the feet like windshield wipers behind you. And sometimes it can feel good to come on up to hands and knees and move through cat and cow, rounding your back, chin to chest for cat pose, and then release or drop the belly for cow pose. If something else is what's calling to your body, then move in that direction instead. How are you feeling? All right. Our next posture will be dragon, which is essentially a low lunge that you'll hold in a passive way. For this, I like to have my blocks up near where my hands are going to be. And I also like to pad my knee with a layer of blanket. So feel free to adjust those things for yourself. And then step forward with your right foot towards the front of your space. And then wiggle around a little bit. You might move the back leg, you might move the front foot. You might even take the legs much wider and the hands inside. Find a shape that works for you, which might include actually holding or resting your elbows on your thigh, or even holding onto your head in that way. And if coming this far forward feels like too much sensation in your body, then come on up and be in a more upright position. The point of this is to create space mostly on the front of your left leg. So if you have that spot in your body open, more spacious, then that's what we're trying to go for here. And there are lots of ways to achieve that. You might be feeling some feelings in other places too. So welcome all of your experience. And then see how, as best you can, you might release muscular effort. Use the bones to hold you up. And even though we're holding the shape for a while, if it feels like you need to adjust your shape, change it. You don't have to feel stuck in anything. And you're in charge. When you feel ready to move out of this shape, be gentle with yourself. This is one of those where I can feel a little stuck as I get out. It can feel good to straighten out the front leg as a counter stretch, or drag it back next to your other one and enjoy a few moments with both legs together. Sometimes an active pose or more yang pose like downward dog can feel nice after that. So you might enjoy a few moments playing around with some other movements before you head to the other side. And in your own time, set up for dragon on the other side. So step your left foot forward and move around a bit until you find a lunge shape that works for you. And remember, you have lots of choices and it doesn't have to look the same on this side. You know, we do so many things with our dominant hand during the day that we don't do with our non-dominant hand. And then we get to yoga class and we're like, but I have to do it the same way on both sides. We are funny humans. to relax all over again. And honor all of your experience, all of the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings. Maybe something pops into your mind that you're grateful for. And again, you can breathe out a thank you. I'm currently feeling very grateful to my body for all the different ways that it can move and all of the places that it's taken me in my lifetime. Thank you. I'm going to linger a few more moments here. I just want to say that usually the second side feels like it's longer, but I promise I'm watching the clock. I'm pretty sure it's because you've already done one side. So even though the shape and configuration is different, your legs have already been doing the thing. When you feel ready to move out of the shape, do so slowly and tenderly, and enjoy a few moments of movement or fluidity. Again, downward dog can feel nice after some of that work in the hips and the legs. Or maybe it's something else that your body wants. Give it to yourself. The next shape we'll do together is a seated pose. So I'm going to fold up my blanket so I have a little cushion to sit on, a little bit of height. You might like that and you might not, so you can choose. Dragonfly, my favorite shape and also my favorite yin yoga pose name. Essentially, it's a seated, wide-legged shape. And you don't have to go to your widest leg. In fact, when you do that, your muscles tend to grip to try to hold you in that place. So find a spot where your legs can kind of feel like they hang out there. And you can choose to flex, point, or relax the feet. All of that's going to change how this feels for you. And then walk your hands forward if you like. All of this is optional. If instead you're actually feeling like you want to open up space on the front body, go ahead and lean back. The real point of this shape is to open up space on the inner legs, which you're absolutely doing with them in this configuration. And then make friends with gravity. Make friends with time. And make friends with your mind and all of the memories and stories and people. Perhaps breathe out. Thank you. If you want to add a little side bend to one side, you might walk your hands over in that direction and enjoy a few moments there. And perhaps if you're side bending to one side, feel free to explore a few moments on the other side. And then perhaps return to the middle, somewhere where you feel the left and right working together. And then when you're ready to move out of the shape, help yourself back up to your starting position. Take the hands and use them to help your knees bend and bring the legs together. You might rub or love on your legs here, or shake and swish or move them in any other way that feels good for you. I'm going to move my blanket off to the side. And then for the final shape, you're welcome to set up a restful shape that works for you. My invitation is perhaps to play with legs up the wall pose as a thank you to your heart. So anytime you lift the feet up, it helps to, the heart has to work a little bit less. So perhaps giving it a break is welcome, although I'm sure it loves to do its job. So you could do this if you're near a couch, actually, or a chair. I don't have my chair in here today, but you could set up with your calves on the seat of the chair or the couch. If you're close enough to a wall, then I like having a folded blanket underneath my low back. It takes a little bit of coordination here, but if you sit so that one hip is close to the wall, then lean into the center of the room, then cartwheel your legs up and scooch around so that you might have the pillow or your blanket under your back or under your head. And for most people, you don't want to scrunch right up close next to the wall. In fact, your knees might have a little bend to them. And if you get up here and you decide it's not for you, then bend your knees, roll to the side, and set yourself up in a way that does work. Thank you, feet, for all the places you've taken me. Thank you, legs, for carrying me. Thank you, hips, for giving me direction to go in. Thank you, back, for supporting me in all I do. Thank you, belly, for taking in nourishment. Thank you, heart, for bringing me another day. Thank you, shoulders, for helping me hold so many things. Thank you, arms, for all the hugs. Thank you, eyes, for all the skies and faces. Thank you, body, for being with me on this journey. Slowly bend your knees and let them come down into your chest. Feel free to grab on and squeeze. And then roll off to one side. Feel free to curl up there for a moment. And in your own time, make your way up. Just sit. Here, you might look around your space and give thanks to your space and your mat and your home. I thank you, each and every one of you, whether you're here live or watching the recording, for being here and being in this together. It makes it so much more fun. I wish you a restful, peaceful evening, and thank you.